tiramisu today, and that's a very delightful dessert. And the first two things you need, and they come in this order, is you need a nice recipe, and I happen to have mine for tiramisu. And the second thing you must have is stolen chocolate. Now, stolen chocolate has a long history, but the best part about it is that it tastes better than chocolate you buy. So I happen to steal this white chocolate from my wife's stash, and I'll be using that today. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. Okay, one of the things that's very important is exact measurements, and I remember Mrs. Cooking White versus Mrs. Music White from our middle school used to chastise people for not doing this. So we're going to put our 1 cup of powdered sugar into our egg yolks, and we're going to add a half a cup of powdered sugars to our egg whites, and we're going to whip them up. I know this is wrong, but I'll show you a little bit a secret on how you can make perfect meringue later. I wanted to have a little conversation with you on ingredients, because ingredients to me are very, very important, whether they be something as simple as a tiramisu or something a lot more complicated like a beef Wellington or something like that. But American ladyfingers are way too soft for what you're going to need to do to make this. And so what I like to do is I like to go out and buy the hard ladyfingers that the Italian makes. And this is a very nice brand if you happen to find it. And you can find it almost anywhere, World Market or something like that. And it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to use, our vanilla is going to come from vanilla bean. And our ingredients are basically fairly simple. Well, I think you can see that our mixture is going right now, and it's whipping up our egg whites. If you'd like to have the nice peaks, then you have to make a small little mixture over your stove of cornstarch, powdered sugar, and water. And if you stir that fairly constantly, you'll find that it resembles something like rubber cement. And as strange as it sounds, if you add this to your egg whites and your sugar, you'll hit the beautiful peaks, and nobody will tell you about that except me. Ronald Reagan had something that was kind of an interesting thing as a cowboy thing. It's a portable bar, and it's very easy to make, and that's what I did here, is make this little bar that when I take all the alcohol off the top, it looks just like any other piece of cheap furniture. Anyway, what I did is I have Kahlua and Bärenjäger, and I also like to throw in some chocolate liqueur too, that we're going to dip our biscotti in, and I think you'll like it. But in the meantime, this is my little hideaway. As I mentioned before, there's this little secret thing. It's called goop, and it's a little mixture of water, powdered sugar, and cornstarch. And you mix it together and cook it over the stove, and it makes this thing, and for lack of a better name, I call it goop. And you add it right here into your meringue, soon to be meringue. Turn everything up high, mix it in. In a few minutes you'll have the most beautiful peaks. When Laura and I were first married, I used to say, "Laura, I'm using dirty beaters. I have a dirty bowl." And I think she was always horrified to see how well it turned out. Okay, we've just done our meringue, and it's looking marvelous in here. And you're wondering, you said, "Oh, it's not going to work. He used a dirty bowl, dirty beaters," and I'm going to tell him, Laura. But let me show you. This is called meringue. Amazing, and it has a dirty finger in it too. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to whip up our egg yolks and mix them in really nicely. And then we're going to fold in the meringue. We're going to put a layer down of our nice biscotti after we dip them in this wonderful alcoholic mixture that we're putting together. And you'll get a chance to see that. And then we're going to refrigerate it for a few hours. And unfortunately, this I'm going to give away. But normally, you can refrigerate it for several days. You can freeze it even. And I've taken it out. I've never really tried how long because I get too hungry for it. It's really quite a good mixture. But if you like it, I hope you'll try it. But here we go. Well, we're getting very close now to putting together our own tiramisu. I've grated the white chocolate. I like to sprinkle on some Hershey's cocoa, and I perforate the top, as you can probably see here. But one of the things I like to do, and that's not authentic to Italy, is I like to use some American mascarpone cheese. It really adds to the experience. Okay, we're getting right down to the fun part. I'm going to gently show you what I think is very beautiful custard that we're putting together here. I don't know how good that's coming through. We're soaking our biscotti in our mixture of Kahlua and Bärenjäger, one of my favorite drinks. And it takes a little while longer because these are very dense cookies, and if you just splash them in like you would an American ladyfinger, they'll be fine. I mean, the American ladyfingers would be fine, but not these. These require a lot of soaking to get them not to the point where they break away, but where they hold enough liquid to make the experience worthwhile. Fortunately, you're catching me doing my favorite part, which is cleaning up. But what we're going to do now, if I can show you our little dish here, is I've put the ladyfingers lined up like so. You kind of have to fit them in the best you can. Then you're going to put in some of your custard. As you can see, I have my stolen white chocolate, which I'll sprinkle over the first layer of this, and then of course a little Hershey cocoa. And then after you do that, then you put your second layer of ladyfingers, and then the whole bit. But I'll show you the finished product in just a minute. Which I did for my daughter Karen as part of my New Year's resolution that I would produce one video. Last year I produced her a cookbook. Now I have a video. And as you can see, it really is a marvelous concoction. It's better to consume than it is to just look at, but that's the way all things are. In any event, what you can do now is I use one of these resealable containers, and I put it together. I just love it because it's made in America, here in America, and enjoy it later. So to my Facebook friends who had Mrs. Cooking White, this is something she never told you, of course. Then it has alcohol too. Hope you enjoyed it.